How are we doing, everybody? Stephen Palmieri coming to you here with another powerful, quick episode to help you improve your financial savviness. And so, for those of you guys who know me, thank you for following. And for those of you guys who do not know me, my name is Stephen Palmieri. My team and I help individuals just like you to fix your finances by raising your credit score, lowering your taxes, and improving your accounting processes. And so, today, I want to talk to you about the referral that came my way a few months ago, actually, before the April 15th tax deadline. And this lady is not a business owner, right? She's just a regular hardworking W-2 wage earner, like a lot of folks here watching me. But the issue is that last year, so we're in 2024 right now, in 2023, she had received almost a $500,000 bonus from her employer. So this is like W-2 wages, a 500,000 roughly bonus from the employer. Now, unfortunately, she was referred to me too late. Okay, and this is part of why we're going to talk about this, is because you need to keep me in your Rolodex. My team and I are here. You've got to have the right people and the right resources when the scenario pops up. So here's the scenario. So she was referred to me, and she's like, "Hey, obviously we're at about at the time March or so of 2024, about a month away from tax deadline. Stephen, here's my situation. I've received about a $500,000 bonus last year in W-2 wages. Now, why it's important for W-2 wages is because, um, if you have a business, a lot of things can be expensed out of there, and we're not even talking about business distributions. We're talking about just straight W-2 ordinary earned income. Okay, and there's not a whole lot that you can do with that. It's a very specialized topic to figure out how you can actually take your W-2 income and lower your taxes. And so, unfortunately, in this situation, there wasn't a whole lot that I could do to actually help her because she didn't come to me in time. Now, well, that's half of the point of this story, is you want to make sure you've got Stephen in your Rolodex. And if you know anybody in this situation, get them to me ASAP before the tax year ends so we can talk about things. But here is one option that, had she come to me last year and we had a little bit of time, one option that we could have thrown her way. And it's important to understand that when we talk about tax strategies, quote unquote, the tax code is humongous. And so what you're really talking about is saying, hey, do you want to put yourself in a position where you make certain decisions to change your behavior and the movement of your money, right? One option could have been for this lady if she wanted to, and that's the whole thing about tax strategies as well. Do you want to do this with your money and what it involves, right? But if you've got a $500,000 W-2 bonus, there's a provision of the tax code that takes what are considered kind of your Airbnb, your short-term rentals. And, this was kind of originally designed back before Airbnb. If you owned a hotel, it's, everything that Congress creates is entirely arbitrary, right? Like nothing makes sense. But they're like, okay, well, if you own a hotel or a business like that and you're cycling through your clients less than 7 days, it's treated differently. That business, even though it's real estate, is treated more like ordinary income. Okay, which basically means it's you can take losses from there and you can offset it to W-2 wages from the application that we're talking for you guys here. Okay, because ordinarily income is not. If you have investment properties, things like that, you have a real estate, you have a business portfolio, it's not ordinary income. Okay. So there is what we can call not a loophole, but a niche, a carve out, which there's millions of them, not millions, but there's a lot of carve outs in the tax code, right? That in the modern sense is applicable to the Airbnb phenomenon, I guess I'll say, right? As a business model. So what this lady could have done if she wanted to, had she come to me last year, what you could do, or somebody is you can purchase a home, just like my beautiful home with my fake palm tree. You guys like that? You can buy a home, and you're not going to put it up for regular rental. You would need to put it up for Airbnb type short-term rental. And in this case, what it is, though, you haven't just bought a home, you now really have a business, actually. And the home is just that asset for the business to be able to do short-term rentals. Okay. But because of kind of how the tax code is, and what happens is, let's say you buy a $500,000 home. Well, first of all, you're not going to use your money. You're going to use the bank's money. You may need to put a little money down, but the point is you're going to get a mortgage on a $500,000 loan, but you now all of a sudden have a $500,000 asset on your books. Now you have a $500,000 loan as well, but you have a $500,000 asset. Well, there's this beautiful thing called depreciation. And what happens is when you get a $500,000 asset like that put on your books using other people's money, i.e., the mortgage money, doesn't matter how it's paid for or who's paid for it, right? You've got this asset, and then you can do what's called depreciation, which basically means you can expense out or essentially move the value as an expense. So you reduce really the value of your asset and you expense it out as a current year business expense. And so, you can do something like buy a home, put it up for Airbnb, even if you don't really rent it out, even if you completely suck, you can do the math. And as of last year, we would have been able to do it and depreciate about 80% of it or so that year. The percentage is changing each year; it's going down. But if we had done this strategy last year, let's say you take a $500,000 home, 80% of that is $400,000. You could have, and so if you had sold, let's just say $1,000 worth of Airbnb revenue, and you've got $400,000 worth of depreciation, that's $399,000 loss. That loss is a ordinary loss, which would offset her $500,000 bonus, and she would be able to get a significant let me do my digits here. Significant 100,000 plus. How many digits is that? Right. A significant tax refund. Okay. So I'm just throwing this out there to you, right? I mean, the point here is not to make everybody experts in everything. I mean, the point is just to convey to you a couple of things. So number one is, there's no referral that you should not send to me. We want to talk to everybody, and timing is important, right? Unfortunately for this lady, there wasn't very much that we could do to offset a $500,000 that she earned in W-2 wages last year when she's talking to me this March. You guys get that. That makes sense. Had she talked to me last year, if she said, Stephen, that makes a whole lot of sense, we can do that. Now, again, there's more to this particular tax strategy that we're not going to go into in this call. I mean, at some point when you sell the house, you kind of recapture that depreciation, so you regain that profit, unless you within 180 days roll it into another house. So, I mean, that's why I say tax strategies all come with, the taxpayer has to make a decision on, okay, this is something that I want to do, like actively, to adjust how I behave and how I move my money, right? I mean, there is no such thing as just like, oh, the magic guys out there are telling me how to wipe away my taxes. You've got to work the tax code, i.e., work the tax code, right? But in this case, it would have been kind of a no-brainer for most people, and she was in a perfect situation to benefit from something like this had we gotten a hold of her in time. There would be almost no way somebody like this could have said no to something like this. So I'm going to go ahead and buy a home on other people's money, depreciate it, and get a significant paper loss that will offset what I owe the IRS. And instead of paying $500,000 or, $500,000 bonus. So instead of paying a couple $100,000 in taxes, I can pay that down towards my mortgage. Like, how does that not make sense, right? So again, I mean, this is a specialized thing, but the point is when we talk to folks, there's options. We need to talk, see what their situation is, but we've got to get in front of people in time, right? So that being said, hopefully this information helps you guys. Maybe you know somebody that is going to be receiving a big fat paycheck, and it doesn't have to be for like a W-2 bonus. I mean, if you know a high earner, doctors, lawyers, folks like that, this strategy can still be employed. And this is just one of a number of ways we can talk to them about, hey, do you want to do these certain things to pay the IRS less, right? These are really kind of like conversations you have to have, and decisions you have to make. So that being said, I would love to hear from you. If you want to chat further, comment below. You can also email me, Stephen at stephenpalmieri.com. And I want you guys to go ahead and remember one thing: fix your finances and improve your life. Thank you for watching me. Like and share and follow, and I will see all of you on the next video. You all take care.